No one in the history of humanity has ever taken a single breath that was not a gift. We may argue endlessly about what, how, or from whom the gift of breath comes, but we all agree by default that we are not its source. We do not own or have any claims to it. It was given. Now, that which is given by definition is a gift. Go deeper still. Beyond the simple gift of breath lies the equally obvious truth that our talents, whatever they may be, are also gifts. Yes, we can make decisions about how we receive and appreciate them, but those limited decisions do not erase the fact that the talents themselves were given, not earned or self-created. The same is true of the time, place, and circumstances of our birth into this virtual world of toil and struggle, heartbeat and breath. Nothing about life or our conscious connection to it is by our design or our merit. The gift of life and everything it contains, implies, and requires was not only given, but also received without our request or our consent. Woven into this is a deeper strangeness. While this gift manifests identically in every individual, each one receiving breath and heartbeat the same, our conscious experience of it, shaped by individual talents, circumstances, and subjective meaning, remains so utterly private and unique as to render us at times almost alien to one another. Humanity rose and flourished as we learned to give and receive, to share, the breath and talents that allowed us to first survive and then to thrive. But at a certain point, we shifted from an experience of sharing to an economy of accumulation, eventually scaling into the borrowing, lending system and institutions that control and manipulate the accumulation of surplus that drives our modern civilization. It is now clear to everyone, across all perspectives of the economy, that this monetary system is speeding toward collapse. As we brace for the impact of a major economic and societal collapse, there is a growing realization that among us are those who are not only insured and insulated against this collapse, but are actively attempting to profit from the wreckage. And so it has been for centuries. However, for the first time in our collective existence, we have the opportunity to change the outcome by changing our perspective on the goal. We can rethink and redefine our current borrowing-lending economy as a giving-receiving economy. What does that mean? How might that look? And isn't that just socialism, the dreaded mortal enemy of capitalism that strips away individual incentives and entrepreneurial innovation? These are fair and legitimate questions. Yet any honest answer must first confront the profound injustice and inequality embedded in our existing predator-prey, scarcity-perpetuating monetary system, as well as the previously mentioned risk of the system collapsing, triggering a state of chaos, emergency, and totalitarian takeover of civil rights. Let's briefly compare the borrower-lender economy with the giver-receiver economy to see why the latter is actually a sounder and more sustainable approach to facilitating value exchange, in that it still incentivizes individual creativity and visionary productivity while lessening the potential damage of our current economic situation. Borrower-lending banking institutions of our own design currently treat citizens' time and energy as resources they own and control. They collateralize this human vitality, an individual's time and energy, to create money as interest-bearing debt. Citizens must then repay that debt by pledging their future time and energy, which effectively transfers their life force to the institutions that profit from this process. In essence, these institutions not only own current time and energy through the money creation process, but also a significant portion of all future time and energy. This is how the present financial system generates money. It issues money as interest-bearing debt, secured against citizens' future labor, their time and energy expressed as work. The interest mechanism ensures that profits flow primarily to lenders and away from borrowers. A possible alternative to this would be a giving-receiving system. In this model, citizens receive their time and energy as the gift it is, owning it as legal personal property, thus making it the true source of wealth. They then voluntarily give it as the source of the currency that circulates in the economy, creating a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account given and received by all. This contribution enters the system not as debt to be repaid, but as capital given. It flows outward through transparent channels, while citizens, through productive and sustainable activity, receive back a fair share of the wealth they originally gave. Critical distinction is this: the current borrowing-lending system monetizes power and control. It takes a citizen's time and energy by force of interest-bearing debt. A giving-receiving system capitalizes a citizen's ownership of their time and energy, enabling that time and energy to be offered freely, unconstrained by debt and interest, and then returned as value received, based on sustainable participation in the economy. When we fully recognize that everything we are and everything we have is itself a gift, we will shift from predation to protection. Until that collective consciousness arrives, those who hold power in the monetary system will continue to extract, exploit, and act without accountability, while the very integrity we surrender in the process sustains those institutions that are driving the collapse.